Welcome, all WTF Nation Radio fans, new people, and those in between. My name is the actual King Smith, and this is the Sports Bar here at WTF Nation Radio. Turn the Sports Bar sign on. I'm one half of this thing. I have a co host. I'm an Air Force veteran. My co host is an Army veteran. And looking like the guy from what's that show, Home Improvement, let's bring my main man, Coach, in the building. Coach, let the people know something.
What do you hear? What do you say? Oh, I'm going to have a terrible night here tonight. 0-5 in fantasy. The Jets are 0-5. My seasons are done. And as it looks like right now over in baseball, my season might be done by the end of today, too. So, what the fuck? Let's do a show.
All right, we've got some interesting, I must say, sports clips to show today. We've got an update on the Rajah Jackson case as charges have been filed. Former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez in trouble with Johnny
Oh.
Five. We're going to hear what happened, what he went through, and what's the fallout from it. Is Coach Belichick's tenure at UNC already done before it began? Former LSU player who took his life, Kyren Lacy, has been in the media lately, and people have been divided at some of the recent footage that have came out since he took his life over a year ago. We're going to talk about that footage and see what y'all have to say about it. And we've got a couple of more things here. Playoff updates, WNBA updates, which is coach's favorite thing, NCAA news. So let's
And
get
piss
into it.
break.
All right. Coach, how was your last week, man? There's been a lot of things in sports. It's been busy. How have you been doing?
I've been terrible. Honest to God, I have been terrible. From last week's rant until now, even with the Yankees winning, it sure as heck didn't feel like the Yankees won anything. Um, it's been it's been terrible. Fantasy football, I am the lone remaining winless team. My team, the Jets, are the lone winless team. Things just I'll say this. I honestly hope that this job that I am hopefully applying for by the end of this month really is opening up. And by the time that it does, by the time the end of this NFL season it happens, I will either have a new job or the Yankees will have a new coach. The Jets won't fire Aaron Glenn after 1 year, but hopefully they'll have a new quarterback because with the number one pick in the draft, that's what they're end up having. So yeah, it's been a crappy week, and it looks like it's going to be a crappy winter.
All right. Well, for those of y'all that don't know,
Well, thanks for sounding so fucking excited about that, King. Wow,
hey,
no
when
fucking sympathy for me. I know
N-
that. I mean, but
nope.
geez,
Nope.
damn, dude.
When last year's champion who was talking all that shit ends up going from champ to chump,
Oh,
I like to talk about it. So let's
there you
show it.
go.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
shit!
The wrong thing is played. That's a little bit later on. Man, we're Striver streaming over here. All right. So
Damn, man.
let's do this properly. So here are the standings right here. If y'all take a look, Pop Culture Warrior in this league is undefeated. This is our WTF Nation Radio Fantasy Football Listener League, in which I'm 3-2. I lost last week, but you know what? A real player is going to be able to bounce back. The lonely winless team down here. Let's circle it. Let's highlight it actually. Right here. CQ's middle fingers, aka Coach's Fantasy Football Team, that has a 1% chance of making the playoffs. 1%. 1%. It don't say zero. So you should at least have
It says
something that you can look
one.
forward to.
You know what? You know what? Hold on. I'm going to say this. Okay, I'm going to call this kind of like Army Navy.
Okay.
All right. You know how Army Navy goes? Like they could be 0-10, but as long as they win the Army Navy game, they'll be fine. As
Mm-hmm.
long as that one win is that. This week, I go against CQ.
Okay.
If I beat CQ, then guess what? That will be my one win. I'll be
Yes.
happy with that. I can go 1-13 for the rest of the year, but I beat CQ, I'll be okay. I'm going to Army Navy this. If I go 0-6, well, King, you're going to have a repeat of what happened when Aaron Rodgers went down because I'm not fucking playing anybody and I'm going to trade everybody off of my roster for scrubs. So whoever wants AJ Brown and the fact that he can't get the ball for anywhere over the first 6 weeks, you can have him. if I go 0-6. Okay. Anybody want Geno Smith, or Geno was probably going to be the only one going because damn Lamar Jackson can't stay on the field. So if any of you guys want either one of those, if I go 0-6, they are open for trade. So let me hear your best offers.
All right. Now, if y'all are new
I'll
to
take Shador Sanders for Lamar if I'm 0-6.
if you're new to our league, we have in our listeners league, it was free to join. We've got 12 teams up in here, and the winner is going to win a $50 Amazon gift card as well as a pair of Jordan 1s in your size shipped directly to you. So this is why you have to tune in to the sports bar Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone so that you can hear about different things that we offer, different leagues that we start up, and ways that you can try and beat me or coach in these fantasy leagues.
Yep, and fantasy it truly is because yeah, it's a fantasy that I'm going to end up fucking winning this year.
All right, let's see if we got any people in the building that we want to acknowledge here. As soon as I can find the chat, there we go. Shout out to Brittany Powell that said, "Finally, hey!" and CQ Kisses #1 fangirl. You got a fan, CQ? You got a fan? I wonder what your real life #1 fan might think about that one. STL Raider said, "So you saying there's a chance, better odds than my Raiders?" I know who that is. And STL Raider, you are about to come up here on the next story. There is a Air Force veteran who I was stationed with, a really fantastic guy. He made this YouTuber's channel where the YouTuber went to the Raiders game at the Colts, which Mark Sanchez was a part of that incident, and got interviewed as a street interview type situation, and we'll see what his prediction turned out to be. So let's see. Geno's gonna have a bounce back this week, baby. Look, everybody can dream. He's got what, a 2-to-1 ratio for interceptions to touchdowns. Everybody can dream, a man. Before I play the clip of that, check out this clip here in which this little league kid demolished this dude not once but twice. Let's get that chat up off the screen and let's play this clip here.
Oh, shit.
Good job, boy.
That's my brother.
That's my brother. Oh man, bring this back in football. This is what we need. We need this at the NFL level. I need these sports athletes to entertain me at the pleasure and the scrutiny of their own body pain. I wonder if this kid quit football that day. I got a funny story to tell you, and this is a true story, but I'm exaggerating just a little bit. I played high school football. I was pretty decent. My YouTube clips are actually out there of me scoring some touchdowns and things back in the day. I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I am toot toot.
Okay, I got you.
I won, coach. I won most athletic my senior year playing one sport, but I was pretty damn good at that sport. Not cream of the crop top tier, but I could hold my own. I could be competitive at the prep sports level. Well, my brother was the opposite of me. He was taller, he was leaner, and while I tried basketball first and realized I sucked at it, he was pretty decent at basketball. And after I graduated, the way that the story's told to me was he went out, he played football, he tried out, and during the spring game, got his ass decleated one time and realized this ain't for me.
Damn.
Now,
Damn.
I was in the military at the time. Otherwise, I would have been at that spring game supporting my brother, who I wish could have played with me. He was two grades behind me, so my senior year would have been his sophomore year. And unless you were a really good sophomore in Alabama, you started out at 5A. They have a 6A now, but at 5A, you rarely saw sophomores playing unless you were just that big of a kid or that fast of a kid.
I get it.
But I think that this kid that we're showing in that clip right there probably experienced the same thing that my brother experienced. That kid might have took his stuff off and said, "Yeah, I'm done with this shit."
I don't blame him at that point because there's certain times where you're like, yeah, this sport ain't for me, and that's the one right there.
All right, now,
That's the one
Coach.
where 20 years, yeah, that's the one 20 years down the line where he's sitting in some type of bar talking about why he's, selling paper or doing some type of 9 to 5 office job. He'll go back to that part and be like, yeah, that's the reason why I'm doing it.
Uh-huh. Now, before I play the next clip, Coach, I need you to tell the people about all the shows that we have here at WTF Nation Radio.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we come to you live 6 nights a week, Monday through Saturday, with a variety of different shows. We will give it to you Monday through Saturday on our lineup, even though we're starting here today, Wednesday, with us on a double play Wednesday with the sports bar and the smoke pit later on tonight. But Monday start out with the double play as well, starting at 7 o'clock. We have the King and me, King and Michelle, show up on there, talk about relationships, talk about dating, and talk about their lives together. And after they come up on there with the King and me, the Monday edition with Ice and Mad Mike, no, excuse me, Ice and Massey will be coming up to you talking about, the apolitical stuff, dealing with the military, and, everything else coming on there. Tuesdays, we have Pop Culture Warrior with Mad Mike. Oh, yeah, there's that other dude. I don't know who that host is. But, yeah, Mad Mike's show, Pop Culture Warrior. Great that Mad Mike's got his own show on Tuesday nights. And until Mad Mike gets another co-host, we're going to call it Mad Mike's show for Pop Culture Warrior, where we're talking about anything pop culture. After us tonight will be the Smoke Pit, and then on Thursday it's Sergeant's Time with Ice and Spanky. Friday we've also got some people over at I don't know, King. Where do you guys go on Friday nights? Well, wherever King goes on Friday nights. They play FTX with a whole bunch of friends over there with some dude. Don't know who that dude is. And then Nemo on Saturday with Weekend Co-ops, where we're streaming, we're gaming, and we're going on the Discord. Speaking of that, we're gonna try to figure out a couple things within the next couple of weeks. But WTF Nation Radio has its own Discord server that you can get onto over on our YouTube, our Facebook, whatever you are streaming us on. X, you can take a look at our descriptions and join us over on our Discord server. And, I just mentioned all three of the platforms that we are streaming on. We are streaming on U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio on X, on Facebook, and on YouTube. We're also streaming on the Sports Bar's Facebook page as well as the Sports Bar's YouTube page. YouTube, we got 431 subscribers out there. If you guys aren't subscribed to the Sports Bar on YouTube, go ahead and come on out and take a look at that. Okay, it's a great, nice little thing. We got that going, as well as the Sports Bar's Facebook page. So come on, check us out. What do you hear? What do you say?
Hey, there we go. Now, to St. Louis Raider, I'm gonna ask you to come up here front and center. You made look. First of all, you look good on camera. All right, and you made an attempt. But I'm gonna need for you to represent us Air Force veterans a little bit better than this. I know you will represent your Raiders, as they say. But let's see how you did in this video. This is from YouTuber Autumn All In. Let's take a look.
Out on you, brother.
Jesse from St. Louis.
Jesse, okay, so he was just telling me last year against the Panthers, our home opener, we won't talk about that game. You saw you and your wife in the background somewhere in one of my videos, so I said, we got to do this proper and get you on here,
appreciate that. Yeah.
Rough start to the season, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's what anybody expected. Didn't look the way it's supposed to. I think most people, reasonable people, thought 2-2 right now. Well, let's see if we can right the ship. Maybe some short, easy passes. Get Gino going.
No Bowers, no Mayer.
That's what I heard.
No
yeah,
Colton.
So is it official?
Colton's out for a while. Yeah.
Official?
Yeah, no tight. So our third string tight end's in.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. Colts look good this year.
They do. But I think that if Max can get after Danny, I think we can slow him down.
What is
Why did
up
Amazon
with
send me
commercials?
$20,000?
Oh, now look. First of all, I'm gonna tell y'all, King
Yeah.
Smith ain't cheap.
Because I use
I pay
Amazon
for premium,
AI.
but
I'm going to
watching
show you a way to.
from the wrong account.
Sure you are.
All right,
All right,
so
I've got a cheap account too. I'm using my son's. My son's got premium. I use his.
nice. So
Hey, hold on, but you know what? The kid's got my Netflix, and all of the other stuff that I pay for. So he's got one of the profile. He's always had a profile there. Same with my daughter. Same with my oldest son. It's okay for him to pay for the YouTube Premium.
so it works out.
Yes, it does.
Let me go back here. Let me bring this back up. So Jesse, I mean, hey, look, man. Like I said, you look good on camera
Man,
there. Hold
Dude,
on.
all
I
right.
gotta pause on that face.
I will say, I will want to bring one thing up. All right. I mad respect for wearing the Bo Jackson jersey. Real happy that Bo Jackson jersey came out there. All right. That's fucking old school. Like, there are certain old schools 80 jerseys. Like, if you wear you can wear forever. Bo Jackson's one of them. Lawrence Taylor, number 56. Regardless, you could always wear that. You could always wear number 3, number 4, number 7, number 42, and number 2 for the New York Yankees. Those are the classics. Definitely want to rep that. But man, at the beginning of that video, I thought the guy that looked like Dog the Bounty Hunter was the one that was getting interviewed, and we were going to watch him. I was more excited for him.
No, sir. No, sir. Now,
Yeah, I'm the dog, the big bad dog.
he did.
The bounty hunter. Yeah, that dude.
Yeah, you know what? Let's check and see what he said as well.
And what are we doing? We got a whole theme here.
Well, I'd like to ask a question to my man Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, what do you think today about the Raiders' chances against the Colts?
Let me tell you something, Mean Gene. Indianapolis thinks Jonathan Taylor is going to be slashing and dashing all around us, but he's going to look more like Mark Sanchez than Jonathan Taylor with the slashing, brother. So what are you going to do when we run wild on you, brother?
Jesse.
Hey, that was
okay. Bad impression of Hollywood Hogan.
he said bad impression. I thought it was good. I thought it was decent. But wrestling is your forte. That's not my forte. But Jesse, man, I appreciate you making me aware of that. I told him that I was gonna put him on, and we like to salute to our veterans out there. So Jesse, give a salute to you, my man. Go Raiders. We got Insomniac James said, I haven't been a Raiders fan since they left LA. I think that the Nevada home is good for him.
Damn.
I think that the Nevada team is good for him. Yeah, I mean, look, Insomniac James got some wisdom in him. I'm not gonna say old.
But I will say this regarding the moving of LA and then, how LA football has been, because it's been a cluster F for the past 30 years until recently. And now with SoFi, you guys are the center of all football. It'll end up being all the big games there. But even the ride from LA to Vegas isn't that bad.
No.
It's a couple hour drive. So I'm going to say, and somebody brought this up regarding the move. Somebody, was comparing the move of the Oakland A's to Vegas compared to the Raiders to Vegas. And the Raiders, having moved before and having been to LA for, 10, 15 years, even with being the Super Bowl, they still had fans there. But the old fans can now go to Vegas if they would like to. And it's a hell of a lot better than going up to the dump in Oakland. But even with the amicable split of the Davis going to Vegas, it's an apples and oranges comparison because of the ownership, And I will say that I think, even though it does on paper, it should seem fair that Oakland lost 2 teams to Las Vegas. I really don't think that it hurt them so bad that they lost like the Raiders to Vegas than it did that they lost the A's to Vegas. You see where I'm getting at? Like, people are upset that they lost the People are upset that they lost the Raiders in Oakland. People are disgusted that they lost the A's. That kind of thing.
Man, when I was in Vegas, a few months ago, just before the season started, there was a Raiders preseason game that was there, and let me tell you, the vibe in downtown Los Angeles when there's a game weekend. I don't know if I can say the word. Uh, what's the politically correct word for like the Mexicans with the Chucks on, and they've got their Raiders jersey, and they're hey, Holmes, go Raiders! Like I heard a lot of that.
I don't know. Ask Ice. He's the one who knows that.
Hey man, those were my peoples. I felt right at home, man. I had some fun. I'll just say that. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I had a blast.
Vatos. Is that what we're
Vatos, yeah, man. The Vatos pulled up.
The Vatos pulled up.
The Vatos pulled up, man, from California. I've met a few of them that were Raiders fans from California that were at that preseason game. It was a good time.
All right. Well, I'll give that, but I don't. That's the separation between professional football and Major League Baseball. Let me be as blunt as I can. People will travel 3 hours to go to a regular season game, especially in Vegas. People won't even go to a regular season game, let alone a playoff game, in a lot of these places that are with Major League Baseball. And on top of that, too, Major League Baseball is playing these games during freaking school hours and work hours.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yep. Now, next up here, again, this was a story that was made aware to me. Friend of the show, David Cunningham's nephew is signed and will be playing for the UNLV college basketball team. Yep. His nephew's name is Jalen, Jalen Cunningham. And he sent me a message, said that he is proud of his nephew and that his nephew is going to be playing on the team this upcoming season. So I said, I will give him a shout out as we support our veterans and their families that support us. So shout out to Jalen Cunningham going to UNLV to play basketball this upcoming season. Let me see if I can find him here. Let's see.
Down to some cinnamon rolls right
now. Looks to be a guard. He is a guard, plays the guard position. Hometown from Las Vegas, 6'2", 185. So the kid's got some size to him.
It does. Hope he's got some outside shot. That's the fundamentals. My suggestion for Mr. Cunningham is to try to find a shooting coach by the name of Dave Hopla. Dave Hopla will fix any person's stroke and probably had the single greatest basketball shot that I have ever seen. So outstanding for you. You're going to go to you're going to become a running rebel. You're going to be over in Vegas. Well, yeah, in Vegas, because I'm not. Yeah, that's in Vegas, not in Paradise. The school's in there. Yeah, don't go to Paradise too much. But oh man, that's awesome, man. I've had a couple friends of mine that went to UNLV, and none of them graduated. I hope that's not the case for you, Mr. Cunningham. But yes, work on your shot, work on your ball handling when you're not working on your shooting, and nothing but the best to you. Hope to see you in the dance in March.
No doubt, no doubt. Now let's see. David Cunningham said, "Hey King, hey Coach. He has range and killer defense. He is in the building.
All right.
Salute to David.
All right,
popping up.
All right.
It's like his ears was ringing. He said, "Hold up, I heard my last name." We appreciate you popping in, David. Always showing some love, David. I have to make a confession. We went to Japan. And David has been a huge supporter of the show, and he sent some stuff. So I said, you know what? I want to get David something. So when I went to Japan, I got him something specifically for him. I got back from Japan at the end of July. I have not sent that off. You know why, David? I can't find it. I have no idea where the gift is that me and Michelle Early got for you. So I'm going to apologize. It ain't like it's disappeared. It's here. So when I have it, you will get it. But I'll let you know when it's on its way.
Oh my gosh. I've done that before, so I don't blame you on that, man. Don't worry about it.
All
You ain't the
right.
first. You're not going to be the last to do that.
Coach, let's go back to
Mhm.
the NCAA and talk
Yeah.
about a couple of things real quick. The first thing that I'd like to cover, Bill Belichick is struggling, struggling.
Look at
It,
this real quick.
oh,
Look at them. Look at them. Oh, yeah.
hold on, because I don't have the
Yeah.
screen
Can
up.
you see it? Can you see them?
Ooh,
Yeah, those look good,
is
man.
that what
Those
you
look
munching on right
great.
now?
That's what I'm about to munch on during the break. When you go to the WNBA, I'm going to eat.
Man, what do you have against the WNBA, Coach? It's a good product. Let's go over last week's scores. Vanderbilt traveled to Alabama, and Alabama got their revenge. The first two quarters made it look like it could have been anybody's game, but then Alabama's defense stepped up and made Vanderbilt's quarterback eat his words. The Vandy kid earned some respect, though, from the Alabama defense to Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel was on the sideline, seemed to console him at the end of the game, and the kids got some dog in them, but it was just not enough. I was watching that game, and in the first quarter, I had people calling me, going, "Hey man, Coach D might not be it, bro. He ain't Saban." And I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna trip this just this early." And they did turn things around. BYU took care of business against West Virginia, 38-24. Georgia, after taking a loss, rebounded and beat Kentucky 35-14. Michigan won 24-10. The Arch Manning led Texans, the Longhorns. I'm sorry, I said Texans. Texas Longhorns
Texas.
traveled down to the swamp and a Jack Tim Tebow made the declaration that Arch Manning and them was going to feel that heat and take that L. And that's exactly what happened. And you know what, Coach? I was, excuse me, I wasn't surprised. Not only did I call that last week, I said, I don't see enough from the Texas team to warrant them to even be a top 10 team. I think they're top 25, but not top 10.
Nah. They, with the two losses now, nah. I'm sorry. Arch Manning is got a bigger learning curve than a lot of us put into there. I'm glad. I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this NIL deal situation has inflated the value of a lot of people? Like, well, we obviously use Shador Sanders, but let's use Arch Manning. Let's kind of use Caleb Williams there, and Bryce Young was also another one. Because we saw them on NIL deals with how good they were in college, there's now been in the expectation that they would have to turn it good. And they'd have to be this great, generational type of quarterback that's drawing $7 to $10 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that now it's now becoming a little bit of a detriment on the development for a lot of people because the struggles that we see Arch Manning going through is not dissimilar to these struggles that Eli went through during his sophomore year at Ole Miss. Obviously, people are going to compare him to Peyton at Tennessee, but if you look at Eli, Eli's kind of struggled at Ole Miss, didn't have the, Heisman Trophy winner type of career that Peyton should have, Peyton had. So you think it's a little bit unfair right now that this NIL deal thing is happening like that? Because this is, quarterbacks that we're looking at for the past 3 or 4 years. A lot of them, are getting hyped up. We see them now on these NIL deals. We're seeing more of them, and they're not delivering to the promise that a lot of them had.
I think so. I think that NIL is definitely inflating. I think that when these colleges and their staff are evaluating talent, I think that they're looking at the ability to win games. And I hate to say it, some program director, athletic director somewhere is also, can these kids bring eyes to the program as well, right? Arch Manning didn't play but what, a few snaps during his first year, but people were showing up not for the quarterback that ended up being the starter. They were showing up for Arch. And throughout the entire time, when is Arch Manning coming out? When is Arch Manning coming out? That was the buzz. That was the tagline. I think that if a kid is proven to be better, they are going to get that opportunity. The young man that transferred from Tennessee to, was it USC or UCLA, that is now looking at leaving UCLA because of their coach getting fired, he's a prime example of chasing the money, not really developing himself, and now is going to be looking for his third team in 3 years. I just don't see teams being able to build from the ground up anymore because of NIL and the transfer portal. Week 1 was the perfect example of that, where when they were introducing the teams, damn near 75% of the starters were formerly of such and such school, formerly of such and such school, transferred from BYA, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's a combination of NIL and the way that the transfer portal is set up. You are going to see people be overinflated. I think money's going to be a big factor. Marketability is going to be a factor as well. And I'm not sure that they're too worried about getting to the NFL through certain pipelines. That's not the way I'm seeing it.
I get that. I think for Manning, it's a little bit different. Well, I'd say I'm not going to discredit the Sanders getting to the NFL, but Manning getting to the NFL is kind of that path that we all see that happening. A lot of people, it was kind of like predestined for him.
Mhm.
You're going to be put that. Sanders really wasn't. In fact, what's the other Sanders doing right now? Did he is he on an NFL roster?
Nope, got cut by the Buccaneers.
No, I don't think he is.
I think he's on the practice squad though.
And you don't hear anything about that, do you?
Nope.
So really, that's not the importance from there.
All right.
These NIL deals are next several years are going to be changing our way of thinking of how we're going to be thinking of college football.
No doubt. Now, Coach, we're going to go to, actually, we have to wrap up here because there's 2 things to highlight. Is the U back? Miami, yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
U's back.
U's back. Okay. There's going to be some obnoxious fans, and I'm not here for it. And then obviously one of the big games, one of the biggest upsets that came out of this week, UCLA, after firing their coach, comes out and dropped 42 against number 7 Penn State. Nobody saw that coming. Not a single soul saw that coming. I was trying to see if I could find what the Vegas odds were for that game, but yikes. The quarterback that transferred from Tennessee, he ended up playing and having one of his best games, throwing for 5 touchdowns, ending UCLA's 16-game skid against top 10 teams. That's what you need to do to increase your value. Go out there and ball just like that.
Any given Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting to get that one with the Any Given Saturday, and that one is the prime example of an Any Given Saturday game. I don't think anybody had UCLA, even with the point spread.
Nope. I just looked it up. They were 24.5-point underdogs, and they became the first 0-4 team to beat a top 10 team in 40 years.
When was in 40 years?
In
Wow.
40 years, yeah. But the
Hey, look, King, if you could ask me that might be a trivia question I would never even get.
No doubt. Now let's pivot over to the WNBA. Coach, go and enjoy your snack. As a matter of fact, let me just should I take him off the screen? You know what? Let's leave them on the screen so y'all can see that snack. So we are in the WNBA finals in which the Los Angeles Aces are playing against the Phoenix Mercury, and it has been one-sided from the get-go. The WNBA playoffs in the finals are now a best of 7 series. And this is game 3 of the series. Los Angeles looked dominant game 1. They end up winning game 2. Right now, it is with 7 minutes remaining in the second. The Aces are up 36-29. I don't see enough star power and scoring to be able to beat this Aces team. I think it's going to be a sweep, and that's not going to be good for the WNBA. If you were to go out and ask 10 people that at least remotely watch sports right now, people might not even know A, what teams are in the WNBA playoffs, and B, that there is a WNBA playoffs. But you know what? I support the WNBA. Shout out to Las Vegas. I am going to say very publicly that I foresee this being a sweep, and they are going to end up winning game 4. Let's see, game 4 is going to be played. Let me bring up the schedule here. Game 4 is going to be played Friday, October the 10th. So this is going to be over. It's going to end in Phoenix, and the Las Vegas Aces are going to sweep the Phoenix team 4-0 in the first game of 7 to be in the WNBA. And you might have people crying again and going, move it back to best of 5. Don't nobody want to see this. So yeah, that's going to end my WNBA coverage, and we're going to pivot to
Do I
the
have
next
icing on my
story here.
face?
You
Hey,
do.
do I have icing up? Do I got any icing on my face?
I don't see it, but I can smell it.
Ah, okay.
There's one more thing, and I apologize. I have to go back to college. 2 things coming out of North Carolina. There was a reported documentary that was going to be made covering the entire season for Coach Belichick's first hoorah as a head coach at the NCAA football rank. Reportedly, that's being scrapped because Belichick might not make it past this season. There are early rumors, and the rumors are getting real loud, that there might be a potential buyout where he coaches someplace else. And that's going to leave that program in turmoil. There was a lot of investing that was going on. They're saying that some of the coaches are also taking or fielding calls, looking at opportunities and fillers for this upcoming postseason to where they could be able to jump ship because UNC is a laughing stock right now. And I'm not going to say that I saw this coming. I saw them being decently competitive, but not this bad. Coach, what say you? KT King said, to no one cares about the WNBA, not even feminists. Dang.
Oh, dang on. Sorry, I had myself on mute. That was a good one, KT. All right, so in Raleigh, we have 99.9 The Fan, which is predominantly talking about NC State. If UNC has a good basketball run, they'll also talk about that, but it's predominantly NC State football. Since Belichick came over, the headlines have been about Belichick because Belichick is who he is.
Mhm.
I have been listening now for the on and off for the past week, and it has been turning into about how they can escape this part with Belichick because it's not a good fit at all. It is, we thought we were getting this, and it's okay. Um, which Jennifer Lopez marriage can I bring up? Mark Anthony, right? Or Alex Rodriguez, whichever one.
Okay.
You know how when they get together and then it was an instant thing like that, she was always meant for freaking Ben Affleck. So she gets married, and it's just not a good fit. So that's exactly what you were thinking of. You would think that this was going to be perfect in this day and age. He's going to get all his quarterbacks and the people he's got, and he didn't get a lot of that. So that's why the investment was starting to come in a little bit more from UNC. And with Belichick's age, a lot of people have kind of noticed that he has lost his coaching acumen, and he's not the same Belichick that was designing defenses 25 years ago to stifle the other opponents. He's not leading, a group of assistant coaches that are going to move on to become terrible or mediocre head coaches in the NFL. He's got brand new assistants. He also has a little nepotism happening and a little, 24-year-old happening as well. So there's a lot of more distractions, but the people in North Carolina are looking at it as we need to get this done as a mistake, chalk it up as a one time we screwed up type of thing, and that's how it happened. The comparison that I heard, and this is a decent comparison, was, and it had to do with North Carolina. So this is going with UNC basketball. UNC basketball went from Dean Smith to Dean Smith's assistant of that was just underneath him for about 2 or 3 years. Then he left. I can't remember the guy's name, and then Matt Doherty became the head coach of North Carolina. And in that time, North Carolina had the two worst seasons in recent basketball history, because it had been successful underneath Dean for forever, as well as whomever it was who replaced him. So it had been like that. And then Roy Williams came back, became the head coach, and won the freaking national championship with Matt Doherty's team, and stayed at North Carolina for 20 some odd years until Hubert Davis came. North Carolina right now is in that part where they're coming into a bad marriage. And off of that coach, even though they're not national championship, it is something that they had to do. What they did with Doherty is they got rid of him fast. They did not take a long time to do it and mull it over. He was gone. In fact, he was gone quick. Okay, he was gone very quick, and Roy Williams was hired very quick to get him. So North Carolina, as long as they do have the same athletic director, works a little quick, works quick for that. So they're going to end up finding somebody for next year. I do think that this Belichick part for him coming down here in North Carolina might also end up in another position dealing with North Carolina. And that's about 2.5 hours southwest of Raleigh in Chapel Hill down into Charlotte. Think about that.
Okay.
Just bringing that up because that is another topic that, you have to now add that into the conversation. He's already down here. They've got a real shit team with a real shit owner. He might come in and freaking, change the entire demographics down in Charlotte. And it's going to be needed with that organization, because that is a shit organization right now that has a shit stadium, that has a very tiresome fan base, and really, they hate that owner.
Man, so you're saying Belichick's going to pull a reverse Saban and go back to the NFL and look at maybe revitalizing, and not even revitalizing, because I don't think the Panthers have ever been, well, when Cam Newton was leading the helm that rookie year.
Or do something kind of the reverse of the guy he replaced in New England. Do a Pete Carroll.
Hey, there we go.
Carroll was successful at USC before he went back to Seattle and won the Super Bowl. And there's somebody that definitely needs a study done with him. Successful and won a national championship in college, even though, you could technically call it professional football at USC at that time, and then came back and won that Super Bowl in Seattle. He started as a Jets head coach and was terrible, fired, and then they hired Rich Kotite. He then went to New England and was fired from there. Um, a lot of the places that he was at until he went to USC, he was terrible, and now he's the one of the very few. Actually, he's the only coach to win a national championship and a Super Bowl.
No doubt. Mike Larson is in the building. David Cunningham said, I think that Tom Brady propped Bill Belichick up. He is not that great of a coach. STR Raider said he ain't been successful in Vegas so far. ... Speaking of Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's very true.
We got Mike Larson in the building. Said that the U owns Florida again. Man, see, I told you. Obnoxious Hurricanes fans. And David Cunningham talked about the MLB postseason. So you know what? Let's transition and go right into it.
All right, yes.
Coach, give us our MLB postseason update.
All right, so right now we do not have any of our none of our series have completed. Nobody is out. Just earlier today, Detroit over at in Detroit beat up on Seattle 9-3 to force a Game 5 in Seattle. That will be on Friday evening. As of right now, no, I take that back. It did go in final. Chicago Cubs, they just won in Chicago today, beat Milwaukee 4-3. Milwaukee has a 2-1 series lead in that playoff right now. Right now happening on Fox Sports 1, if you are watching, the New York Yankees are trailing 2-1 and the Bronx. I'm not going to get started with them because if they lose tonight, I am okay. You know what, King? I am going to say this. If they lose tonight, there is a radio station called WFAN in New York. Okay. You want to listen to it around 11 o'clock. Keith McPherson will be on. You are going to hear the real me call in and absolutely berate the Yankees needing to fire Brian Cashman as well as Aaron Boone. And I'm going to say this. I said it at the end of 2020. I said it at the end of 2021. I said it at the end of 2022. I said it at the end of 2023. And now I said it at the end of 2024. Aaron Boone needed to be fired. Brian Cashman needs to let go, retire, and move to some other position and let somebody else be the general manager. I have said that now for 6 consecutive years. Tonight might make it 7. And I've said it on air each time on WFAN. I am fucking doing it again tonight if they lose. Then, one of the ones that I'm not too surprised about, the LA Dodgers have a 2-0 series lead after sweeping the Phillies in Philadelphia. They're going to wrap it up at home tonight around 9 o'clock, so that first pitch will be coming up there. I will say Milwaukee and the Dodgers for the NLCS next week. That's where we're most likely going. It's interesting what's happening with Seattle. Not going to lie, I think just going to home teams was going to help them out. And I think Seattle, you're going to have your chance to get to the ALCS. Oh, man. Toronto, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has turned into Big Papi, Juan Gonzalez against the Yankees in 96, that one hitter that I don't want any of the balls going to. He is locked in on another level right now, and Toronto looks tough in the AL. Seattle and Toronto might be our ALCS, but like I said, I'm still hoping it's going to be the Yankees in Seattle next week.
Okay. I wished we could stream this show out to go even longer to the end of that game. Just to hear how it would turn out if the Yankees end up losing. But you know what? I'm rooting for the Yankees, Coach.
We're at the bottom of the 6th right now, so they got 3.5 innings.
Yes, sir.
All right. I mean, yeah, we're not going to go that long.
Nah.
We're definitely not going to go that long.
No, we are not. But
you know what? I might. Hey, let's get with radar. let's get with Radar because
Listen,
Radar might have a coach rant tonight. How about
yeah.
that? Let's see if Radar will allow a special edition coach rant tonight. You,
Nice.
you know that I came on his show the 2 nights ago or about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I can't remember what we were talking about, but yeah, came on to talk to him about something veteran related.
Nice.
Yeah. So
All right.
yeah.
Mark Sanchez. Let's put this up on the screen here.
Oh.
So, NFL analyst, former quarterback Mark Sanchez on October the 4th in downtown Indianapolis got into a confrontation with a 69-year-old truck driver who was doing grease oil pickup work. There was a reported dispute that began over a parking loading dock spot in which Sanchez allegedly told the driver he couldn't park there. Then got into the driver's truck and tried stopping him from calling help. And there is reportedly footage of all of this. The driver says that he pepper sprayed Sanchez, but when Sanchez allegedly advanced further, the driver stabbed him multiple times in self-defense. Sanchez suffered stab wounds to his upper torso and was hospitalized, but his condition is now reported as stable. The driver sustained severe facial lacerations, penetrating through his cheek with the possibility of permanent scarring, looking like the Joker. Sanchez was originally charged with misdemeanors, battery with injury, unlawful entry of a motor vehicle, and public intoxication. But after investigators assessed the severity of the driver's injuries, reviewed evidence through surveillance and witness statements, the charges against Sanchez was upgraded to a felony battery with serious bodily injury. The potential penalty that this carried is a level 5 felony that carries a 1 to 6 year prison with up to a $10,000 fine. A civil lawsuit has also been filed by the driver seeking damages for injuries and disfigurement. I looked at the surveillance footage, which I can't play here on this live stream, and let me tell you, Mark Sanchez is a bully because it did not look good, right? And when you combine the reported alcohol, you can say that judgment in a high pressure situation was definitely impaired. Now, I'm also going to say this. I was actually just in Indianapolis. We stayed at a nice hotel that was within walking distance from the stadium. Me and Michelle went and got some pictures at the Colts Stadium as well. But the parking situation is trash. Now, these celebrities think that they could just do whatever that they want to do. And the public sympathy against Mark Sanchez when the 911 call came out and when some of the surveillance footage was also out there was definitely in favor of the 69-year-old driver, which I'm emphasizing, 69-year-old driver that was doing his job. All right. Why was Mark Sanchez even there? He was there to broadcast the Colts Raiders game for Fox, but after the incident occurred, while he was still in the hospital, he was replaced by Brady Quinn, which that was just a huge downgrade. I didn't think Brady Quinn did good at all. So let me ask you, Coach, and those of y'all that are viewing, do you think that this was a situation in which the driver was right to do what he did, or was Mark Sanchez right to do what he did? Coach?
Mark Dirty fucking Sanchez. As a Jet fan, that freaking name brings up so many conflicting emotions. The last time the Jets were in the playoffs, Mark Sanchez was the quarterback for the AFC Championship game. And that was the second time he was there.
Mm-hmm.
It was 15 fucking years ago. Of course, I've talked about the downward trend that happened ever since that one game against Kansas City in 2011, where the Jets went one way, Kansas City went another. I, though, don't feel any sympathy for Mark Sanchez. Okay? From my understanding, he was inebriated. Don't care how that happens. Mark Sanchez should have never have gotten into that guy's car. The fact that he got messed up by a truck driver. Hey, look, the truck driver may have gotten aggressive, but if I had a couple of those things and Mark Sanchez was coming after me, big former NFL quarterback, I would possibly do the same exact thing. And I'm just gonna say this: as a felony, he's gonna go to federal pound you in the ass prison, right? Mark Sanchez is used to running his face into men's asses. He did it prolifically when he was a member of the Jets.
The butt fumble.
So, you know what? Have fun, man. Life is a big, giant circle. And guess what? You're going to be running into many men's asses for several years in federal prison. Good luck, Mark.
I'm gonna see.
What ends up happening is that he'll plead guilty and he'll end up doing some community service, or he'll end up doing some jail time over in some type of white collar frickin' jail, not do anything, past 90 days or 6 months, and then land on his feet over at USC doing something. All right, you know what? Let me tell you something. Let me ask you something. Do you know or do you remember now Ryan Leaf going to prison until I brought it up?
It was one of those when you brought it up, it was like, yeah, that did happen type moments for me.
That happened when you brought it up, right?
Mhm.
It's going to be the same as Mark Sanchez. It's not going to be like, until I bring it up, people think Ryan Leaf will, NFL bust. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. Everybody kind of thinks of Mark Sanchez, NFL bust. This is not going to be the issue that people will remember Mark Sanchez for, much like the way that nobody remembers about, the shit that Ryan Leaf did. So that's going to be that, because it's fucking embarrassing. Okay, it truly is what he did. He got his ass kicked by a damn near 70-year-old all over a stupid parking spot. You know what? He didn't get done dirty. Sanchez was fine. Dirty Sanchez.
You probably couldn't see it, but I was playing the butt fumble a couple of times on stream.
I saw it. Dirty Sanchez. You know what a dirty Sanchez is, right, King?
It sounds nasty and sexual in nature.
You don't know what a dirty Sanchez is?
I've heard of it, but I don't know explicitly
all right.
what
for
it
those
is.
Of you in the comments, for those of you in the comments right now, I need you to type out what a dirty Sanchez is for King. Please let him know what a dirty Sanchez is in the comments.
And you better respond from your incognito account. All right, look, Coach, similar to you,
I was about to say that's one of those ones. That's one of those terms that you definitely put on the incognito mode for the search up. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. There's been too many. I've done that too many times. It's been burnt when I don't put it on the incognito mode.
Yep,
that's one of the ones that's the risky click.
Now, Coach, similar to you, I am with you against Mark Sanchez in this. I just think that I'm always for the working person, period. And I'm also for whatever the right thing was in that moment, that's what it should be. Have I done some things that I shouldn't have done and got called out on it? 100%. One time I parked where I should not have parked and got blocked in and had to sit and wait for about an extra hour and a half until the person came out that was in the right to move their truck came out. And I don't blame them for blocking me in, because my ass was the one that was in the wrong. And it was what it was. For about 30 minutes, I sat and waited in my car, and I was like, I don't think they're coming back anytime soon. So I just went and walked around and did other stuff. Luckily, I had nothing else that was a follow on from what I was doing. And as I was coming back, they came to their truck. The driver looked at me. I looked at them and I said, brother, my bad. And he smiled, shook my hand, and said, now I feel like an ass. And that was it. That was it. I apologize to him. And even though he was trying to like, oh, I'll show this car. When I said my bad, we shook hands and that was that. Mark Sanchez, in his inebriated state, could not seem to humble himself and do the same thing. He's privileged and thought that he was in the right. And when you're privileged and you're drunk, you don't make the best decisions. So, do I think he's going to get charged with things with the evidence that's out there? He won't hmm, how do I say this? He won't get off easy, but I don't think he's gonna get the maximum amount for what they're coming after him for. I think that the combination of the civil suit is going to play a factor, and the criminal suit will just be a slap on the wrist for him.
Yeah, and that's why I said that this is going to be more civil,
Nine David
probation,
131 Adam 159.
possible couple months in prison, but nothing as far as but fucking Mark Sanchez. Jesus.
Now let's play a little bit of this 911 call.
So King, I do have something. I do have one thing regarding Mark Sanchez.
Okay.
All right. So we joke about, by the way, with now Justin Gabriel starting this week, that is the 47th quarterback. The about how many starting quarterbacks the Jets have and who was the worst. I do have to mention that as much as I bitched about Mark Sanchez, in no way, shape, or form is he Zach Wilson, because Zach Wilson was an absolute embarrassment. And I think that outside of nobody understands the Ryan Leaf level bust that this kid has been. Because this week I'm looking at Baker Mayfield, and he could definitely be one of the MVPs this year, an MVP candidate this year.
Mm-hmm.
And to think that if the Jets had actually lost the game and Adam Gase hadn't acted like an asshole, they could have gotten that freaking pick. No, wait a minute, hold on. That was Trevor Lawrence, wasn't it? Sam Darnold, that's the year that I'm thinking of. All right. They went with Sam Darnold, and I think they could have ended up losing another game and gotten a better position. But now but fuck me. The Jets can't do anything with quarterbacks. Geno Smith, 2 years he was there. Then you end up getting Fitzpatrick, and then, some other douche nuggets, and then Darnold, you fuck up, and then you fuck up with Wilson, then you fuck up with the fucking you fuck up with Aaron Rodgers. You take a fucking legendary quarterback and fuck that up, and now you're fucking up Justin Fields. Jesus fucking Christ. You fucking people. Stop fucking me over. You fucking assholes. Fuck the fucking cocksucking fucking New York Jets. Damn it, now I'm pissed again. Motherfucker.
Where is Zach Wilson at now?
I think he's on Miami.
Yep.
I think he's on Miami.
Let's see.
I mean, if he's on Miami, and he probably the third string quarterback over there.
Let me take a look here, because I'm curious if he's gotten in any games so far.
Yeah, and he hasn't gotten into what's that?
Game 1 against the Jets, which they got demolished 33-8. Zach Wilson came in the fourth quarter when he eventually pulled Tua and went 5 of 8 for 32 yards.
Oh God!
Hey man, the revitalization of Zach Wilson.
Revitalization, dear God, what a fucking bitch. Ryan Leaf made me think of Zach Wilson, and I don't realize how bad of a bust he was. The stupid COVID year too. That's what got him, is that stupid COVID year. He didn't play against anybody, And and you know what? Let me think about this because he had a great play on Monday night, but Trevor Lawrence hasn't been the quarterback that everybody had promised coming out of Clemson. And I do think that because that was the COVID year, I do think that his play was kind of hyped up against a group of people that, against, well, let's call it lesser talent.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that
Oh,
old Sunshine Lawrence is, I mean, he's got more touchdowns than interceptions. Current completion rate 63.1%. He's not bad. He's in a bad
no,
market.
no, he's not bad at all. But he is not what everybody expected.
Mm.
Everybody expected everybody expected the level of success right now that at least Lamar Jackson had. Everybody would have expected, well, they would have expected much better numbers than what he was producing, and they
Gotcha.
would have expected a much better record. Progress is where I'm coming from.
Okay. Let me see if we got any comments. There was a 911 call, but I'm not going to play it. There wasn't anything that came out of that except kind of towards the end where they talked about the injury. So we're going to skip that. We're going to go to the comment section while I queue up the next story here and give an update into Rajah Jackson's charges. We got Spanky in the building.
Yeah, let's get. Hey, is KT still out there?
KT, hey, if you're still out there, man, say something for your boy.
Yeah, because we're about to bring that up, buddy.
All right. I'm going to have KT King on my YouTube channel tomorrow, and we're going to kind of give a little bit more of a deep dive into not just that incident specifically but about the legal ramifications and the impact that have on men. So I'm going to give a plug for myself here. Go over to the actual King Smith YouTube channel at 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, where I have a conversation with somebody who we interviewed 2 Wednesdays ago that was directly and indirectly at the event that went nuclear viral, in which Rampage Jackson's son, Rajah Jackson, just lost his mind on a U.S. Army veteran who wrestles by the name of Psycho Stu. He said that he is here and said good evening. And God happened to be in the building as well. Said good evening. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle, for tuning in. Now let's go here and let's give the update on Rajah Jackson here. Let me bring my notes up here. So here we have, this was reported today, earlier in the afternoon. Rajah Jackson, the son of retired MMA legend Quentin Rampage Jackson, will face multiple criminal charges in connection to an assault that took place during a professional wrestling event in August in Los Angeles. Rajah Jackson, 25, will face 1 count of felony battery that caused serious bodily injury and 1 count of misdemeanor battery, according to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. A formal criminal complaint has not yet appeared in online records, but it is expected to occur this week. The incident, like we reported earlier, occurred at a Knox Pro Wrestling event in Los Angeles. Jackson, who was scheduled to appear in a staged match, slammed Stuart Smith, known as Psycho Stu, to the ground and continued to strike him even after it appeared that he was unconscious. In a live stream prior to the event, Jackson said that he intended to get revenge on Smith for a brief altercation that had occurred between the two earlier in the day that led to this string of unfortunate events. Smith had hit Jackson with a beer can as an apparent altercation to promote the event because he saw cameras that were following Rajah Jackson, and it looked like he thought he was a part of the wrestling circuit. According to Smith, he suffered multiple injuries to his jaw during the attack, as well as a serious head injury, a laceration to his hip, and lost teeth. Jackson was arrested in September, about a couple of weeks ago, in connection to the assault. His father, Quentin Rampage Jackson, who famously competed in the UFC and Pride Fighting Championships, has condemned his son's actions in multiple interviews and on social media. If convicted, he faces up to 4 years in state prison for the felony charge, and that the district office is also expected to seek a sentencing enhancement that could increase the amount of prison time. And here's why all of this is bad for Rajah Jackson. When Mr. Beast, who has a bazillion YouTube and X followers, posts about it, you know that that story's going viral. And I'm going to read exactly what Mr. Beast. Actually, I'm going to see if I can put it up on the screen here. I'm going to put it up on the screen so that y'all can see what it is that Mr. Beast said. Let me see if I can get this proper. Here we go, right here, and boom. So Mr. Beast said, "Dang, man, this hurts to see." Y'all might not be able to see it. It might be kind of small, but especially because I read that he was a veteran that used wrestling as an outlet to get over PTSD. Genuinely, if anyone connected to him knows of a way that I could help, please reach out. If his kid is a fan or I could help with the hospital bills, I don't know, but I'll help. So this is from Mr. Beast's page here, August 2024, right after the incident happened. A GoFundMe was raised, and over $200,000 was raised as well. But Psycho Stu, like Coach and I talked about, his life is not going to be the same following this. And I think that the public perception, as well as the fact that the evidence is there. I mean, it was on Kick, for crying out loud. The evidence is there. It's going to be hard for a jury, the way that I think that the prosecution is going to frame this, to not find him not guilty. And yeah, he is going to see some jail time. Coach, what do you have to add now that the charges have been formally introduced by the
I mean,
prosecution office?
yeah, it's a pretty clear picture. We have all seen it. We've seen it over the past month and a half. We've seen enough of the videos. We saw exactly what was happening. We've gotten all sides of the stories without, um, it's not good. So my thought about it is that Raj is going to go away for a bit. He will. I hope that this kid rehabilitates himself. But yeah, the line was blurred. People didn't understand what kayfabe was, what working was, and unfortunately, this is a bad accident that or a bad situation that should never have happened. So somebody's going to have to go to jail. It's going to be Raja. Sorry.
Yep. I played a video when we had first brought this up in which Rampage talked about his son or his kids, and he talked about how he had college money that was set aside for his kids, but that he only saw one of them actually using it, and he wouldn't be surprised if the other one was in jail. Well, art became life, I guess, and Rampage is pretty much spoke that into existence. So we will continue to monitor this story as it hits what we talk about here. It's got sports, it's got veteran, and we are going to keep those updates going. Well, we got one more story here, and then we're going to round out what we have here. But before we do, Coach, go into the comment section and see what we got while I get some things set
Yeah.
up proper here.
So KT King did mention that they're not circuits, and it is promotions or companies. That's what usually you call the wrestling people. The circuits is a little bit more for boxing.
My bad. I don't speak wrestling.
Yeah, it's all right, and that's the way it was written up in the article as a wrestling circuit, which maybe we should also bring up on ESPN. They broadcast WWE right now, and they should notice the lingo of what exactly is for their promotions and all that. And there's Captain Wayne Baconator. What's up? And I got Bobby Boucher is the man. We're going to talk about his mama though. His mama's pretty daggone ugly. But do want to ask KT if you've got any comments you'd like to share with us. Bring that up there, and yeah. Other than that, King, you good? Got
Yep. Yep.
All right.
I am good to go. So, our final story for today, let me put this up on the screen here. We have Kyren Lacy. Kyren Lacy was a former LSU Tiger wide receiver. In his final season at LSU, he had 58 catches, 866 yards, and 9 touchdowns that tied for the SEC in touchdowns and earned him second team All SEC honors. There was an incident that had occurred December 17, 2024 on Louisiana Highway 20, in which a fatal crash that resulted in the death of a 78-year-old man by the name of Herman Hall. He was a passenger in a vehicle that ended up in a head-on collision after a series of evasive maneuvers had occurred. He died later on from his injuries. The allegations against Lacy came out that he was driving a 2023 green Dodge Charger that was making an illegal pass at a high rate of speed in a no passing zone, crossing into oncoming traffic. Now, although Lacy's car did not physically collide with any vehicle, investigators argued that his actions are what triggered a chain of events that eventually caused Herman Hall to lose his life. As the Charger had approached, the northbound pickup truck braked and swerved to avoid impact, and a car that was behind, a Kia Cadenza, reacted, swerving, and collided head-on with a Kia Sorento, in which Hall was a passenger. That's just not a bad look for Kias that 2 Kias were involved. Lacy allegedly flew past the crash site without stopping to render aid or call authorities. And I've got an NBC News coverage. Fair use, NBC News. Allow me to use y'all stuff and not ding us for it. But I want y'all to see kind of how it was reported early and now what the outlook is, and see if, as Ryan Clark said, Kyren Lacy is owed an apology. Now, after the incident, an arrest warrant was issued in January of 2025 for negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation of a vehicle. In January 12, Lacy turned himself in, was booked, and was released on a $151,000 bond in the same day. There was a grand jury case that was scheduled to review the case on April the 14th, but 2 days prior, Lacy, who was like, I ain't going down for this, ended up getting in a police pursuit in Houston, Texas. And before he was able to be apprehended, turned a gun on himself and turned his own TV off. Now, because of this, Lacy never faced trial or a formal public hearing for the crash. There was a lot of sympathy that was garnered for him because people that were there and some of the early witness statements was like he was involved in some way, yet his car didn't have any scratches. Some of the early footage showed that he was never directly involved in hitting anybody. And that was where Lacy was trying to maintain his side of the story. Now, the public did not have the entire picture that has since came out. As new video was released, crash reports and witness testimonies just this past week in support of the Louisiana State Police and why they put the charges. And the state stance is that all of the evidence support the notion that Lacy's reckless operation, passing multiple cars in a no passing lane, was the catalyst for the crash, even though there was no direct collision. So let's play the video, and I'm gonna let y'all tell me what y'all think about this incident. And hold up. I was talking to make sure that I got it ready, and I do have it. Let's make this bigger. That's what she said. And let's roll the footage.
January, saying his reckless driving led to this deadly crash. Lacy was never formally convicted because he died by suicide while waiting for his trial. Now, Lacy's attorney, remember we told you this last night, Lacy's attorney says he didn't do it. And he says this video you're about to see proves it. He says it shows Lacy was nowhere near the crash when it happened.
You're going to see multiple cars just making their way south to Thibodaux, coming from Vacherie. At some point in time, you're going to see the collision, which we're going to know is vehicle number 2 from oncoming traffic colliding with the vehicle of Mr. Hall. You will see another vehicle come to a stop, and then you'll see Kyren Lacy come to a stop.
That's that green car there, the green one seen at the end. Lacy's lawyer says he was more than 70 yards away from the crash when it happened. Now, the state police, they are putting out their own video today. This video, look at this. You can see Lacy's green Charger right here. Police say he drove illegally in the wrong lane when other cars swerved out of the way, allegedly leading to the crash. Here's what one witness said, according to this new video.
Did you see a green Charger flying that way? A green Charger that going that way?
There was a green Charger.
There was a green Charger that
caused all this.
SRT8, he caused all that. He went to pass the cars way back there, sir.
The green Charger collided with these cars?
He went right between.
Now, that video right there, that's one of the earlier ones that talked about and identified the green Dodge Charger. I'm not somebody that drives fast. Even when I had a fast car, I had a Dodge Charger prior to trading it in to getting my hybrid Ford Fusion, which I love right now. I kind of miss the Dodge Charger, but I don't miss the tickets and things that I always got with it. I don't drive fast. I prefer to arrive alive. And then people laugh at me because I'll put my cruise control on. I'll go about right at the speed limit, maybe 2 over. And I'm just, hey, I'm enjoying tunes and things. I can't stand when I see people driving the way that Lacy was recorded as driving, because it can cause a chain of events that you can't recover from. Do you have anything to add before I continue?
Yeah, I mean, and it's supporting. Unfortunately, there's going to be people saying, "How can you charge that?" And unless you've actually lived through something that is similar, really, it's a little confusing. I side with the police officers on this. I think it was maybe about 40 years ago. My wife was turning into another lane. Somebody was speeding behind her. As she was turning into the lane, didn't see that person coming in. That person ended up going into an off ramp, pulling off to the side, and then causing somebody behind them to crash, and then somebody else behind it.
Mm-hmm.
My wife was held liable for that because her initial part for changing the lanes caused that initial part of the crash.
Okay.
Yeah. So it sucks, but with what happened, my wife was at fault. Nothing to do of her own. Now, if with that person speeding and trying to say, well, that person was, further away from it, I could fully understand that, because if he was not doing that, then one person wouldn't have reacted that way, which caused the accident, which then would have come from that. As far as, the unfortunate part of what happened last year, won't comment on that. I believe that was a move of desperation and just saying did not want to do anything and ruin his life. So, but that being said, I mean, there's certain people that just because of the end result of the situation, a lot of people think that it's a tragedy, and and essentially that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a tragedy that happened with all the lives that were involved over something innocuous that ended up spiraling out of control.
There are some comments here that I want to read before I continue. Yeah. David Cunningham said it was reported that Lacy's car was 70 yards in the back of the collision, and that also a police officer had a lady change her witness report. I think that's going to be on the video later, David. And then Captain Wayne Baconator said that dude was 210 feet away before it even occurred. Yeah, but if you're looking and you look up and you see a car traveling at a high rate of speed that's not supposed to be in your lane, that might cause you to have a reaction to try to avoid something major occurring. All right, so let's take a look.
NBC News reached out to Lacy's attorney, but we haven't yet heard back. I want to go to George Solis now, and this is a story that has raised a lot of questions with civil rights groups and more. The state's attorney general is now out with a new statement today, also backing up police, right?
Yeah, that's right, Hallie. And what you have here is obviously a tale of two very different narratives. This all comes very quickly after Lacy's attorney put out that video package, essentially trying to say that Kyren Lacy was not at fault during this crash. You know, he never disputed that Mr. Lacy did go into the oncoming traffic lane, but again, the claim there was that he was a football field's length away when he merged back into the right lane, and that he was given ample time to course correct, essentially, and that he had no connection to this crash. And then again today, very quickly after that video surfaced, you had Louisiana State Police put out their own almost 12-minute video that not only depicts witnesses there on the ground after the crash pointing towards the green Charger, referring to Kyren Lacy's car, but also a witness statement that was taken there from one of those troopers where, again, they point to Kyren Lacy's car, saying it was the Charger that caused all of this. And as you mentioned, the Attorney General, Liz Murrill, saying right now she is still reviewing everything from Louisiana State Police, but the facts of the matter here is that no one disputes that his actions may have led to this crash. She says every witness identified the green Charger Kyren Lacy was determined to be driving as having put the events in motion that led to the head-on collision, which killed 78-year-old veteran Herman Hall, which was the person that unfortunately passed away. As far as Lacy goes, well, he was supposed to go before this case was supposed to go towards a grand jury, but unfortunately we know that he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. His own attorney saying that the pressure of this case may have been a factor in that role, but obviously just adding another complexity to this already complex case, Hallie.
That's for sure. George Solis, thank you very much. We should note if you or somebody you know is struggling with thoughts of suicide, you can call or text the National Suicide Hotline at 988.
Unfortunate. Unfortunate indeed. I'm not sure what were the events that happened right before the cops came up to him, or the events that started the police chase. I can imagine that if you didn't think you did anything wrong, you would make, I would say, irrational decisions to defend yourself. And you are not going to want to be held captive or have something occur if you strongly think, I did not do this, I should not be the cause of this, this is wrong that they are coming after me. It's unfortunate that the young man may not have had proper counsel in his corner to calm him down, to keep him from making a decision that he can't take back. I don't believe that he was innocent. Ryan Clark at the end of the Monday night game came out and had a very strong statement in support of Kyren Lacy. But I'm curious because it depends on, I'm going to say, whose side you're on. If Ryan Clark would have kept that same energy, if the man that died was his father and Kyren Lacy was the one who set off the catalyst, that then his father was the one who passed away, if Ryan Clark would still have that same energy.
Possibly not, but at the same time too, we didn't know the whole entire story until all the sides came through. It's like I said, it's a damn tragedy. That's exactly what it is. It is a damn tragedy that the whole thing happened, and two lives are lost because of it. And in a way, like I said, two lives are lost on a tragedy of somebody who didn't think of a better way.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm coming from.
Gotcha.
Failures in the system. I would be mad at the failures in the system, not in the action that happened. That's where I would come. I would look at the failures in the system and try to improve on those failures.
I agree. Now, I am going to see if I can play this here. This is the 911. I'm sorry, not 911. This is the police cam that I think it was David Cunningham, or maybe it was Captain Wayne Baconator, talked about. One of the witnesses were coerced into saying something. So let's play this out, and then we'll wrap up the show.
Don't worry about filling any of this top information, like your name, address. Don't worry about any of that. Just right here, if you could, I'll just have you write exactly what you saw. Just make sure to include, where you were.
I don't even know what the name of that highway.
It's Highway 20. Highway 20. That you just.
All right, maybe my wife gonna figure out right quick.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes, and the brakes, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
I ain't skid mark or nothing, but I wasn't even gone, man. That lady in the back of me, she didn't saw what happened. That's how she called that wreck. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side, and that's not in it.
So, but the charger was coming right at you, correct? Right. And that's why you had to slam on your brake, the head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important because we're trying to locate this charger right now. So just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here. So look,
that video is a bigger problem. I then obtained the actual written statement.
Get to it. Get to it.
And this is from the gold truck.
This is the gold truck. Now, after the statement we just went through, notice I've obviously redacted names, addresses, and the cell phone number in fairness to the individual who is gold truck number 1 in oncoming traffic. See, the problem with that statement is it is in direct contravention to what was said minutes earlier. It's not written by him.
That's a big word.
And where it says signed, it's not signed. It's refused. Data shows that. Now he corrects.
So, the statement that they used to be able to go after him the following month apparently was a statement that was refused, which I'm not a legalese guy, right? But if you're involved and there's an investigation, I was a part of an investigation once where they had to come and get, my statement. And, how much can I say? I was severely inebriated. So there wasn't much that my statement could provide, as I didn't have direct knowledge of what had occurred. I had only heard secondhand, and a secondhand statement from somebody that had had way too much to drink doesn't really account for much, which I'm going to tell y'all, don't do what I was doing. If you are a young person in the military, stay away from alcohol. Bad things happen, as we can reference with Mark Sanchez and some of the other people that we have. But yeah, look, in the end, I think it was unfortunate what had occurred with Kyren Lacy. Arrive alive, even if you have a fast car. I'm not going to say follow the posted signs. Just don't do stupid things that can cause a chain reaction of events that impact other people. The world's too big for you to think that you just own that piece of highway that you could drive 120 miles per hour on a motorcycle and think that you could hit a curve and navigate that curve successfully. And I'm speaking of an incident in which I know of a motorcyclist that just lost their life navigating way too fast. And I'm like, in that case, it was so preventable. I think in this case, there are accidents that are not preventable. This one was. And 2 people are now not alive because of it.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a damn tragedy.
Coach, do you happen to know what the score is of the Yankees game before we close out?
Are you asking, or is somebody in the audience asking?
I'm asking. I don't know. I haven't looked it up. I'm asking to see if you're up to date.
Yes, I am up to date.
Are you happy or not? Okay. That's everything. I'm going to find WFAN and tune in. And I'm also going to be tuning in.
Might be around midnight or 11.
Oh, yeah. I will be a pumpkin and sleep by then. I've got to tune in to the smoke pit tonight. Matter of fact, speaking of, we're about to end the show here, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to the Sports Bar at WTF Nation Radio. Come back next Wednesday. Coach, next Wednesday was the week that you may not be.
No. Following week.
The following week. Okay, so we are going to have both myself and Coach here. And for the first time ever, I think, we're going to have a different co-host. Maybe even have a whole different main host. We'll see here at the Sports Bar. We might be trying some talent out. Okay, so tune in. Come back and check out the Smoke Pit. We'll see if Coach is able to join Radar tonight and see if we could get what I am going to probably envision be an epic Coach rant here at WTF Nation Radio. Coach, I appreciate you as always. To St. Louis Raider, he's a new viewer. Brother, thanks for tuning in. That's my guy. We've had some epic nerd moments being stationed together back in the day. To David Cunningham, we are wrapping up the show. David, if you're still out there, type up your words of encouragement. I always look forward to those, and I thank you for it as well.
And real quick, just to put out with what KT said, Knox Pro should be held a little bit liable. I don't believe the WWE would knock off any Hall of Fame ties or Legends contract with Rikishi. Just like they didn't do anything with Hulk Hogan, they were still on that one contract and just allowing it to go. I mean, I would say that there should be certain things that should happen, but they probably want to be cutting the professional ties with Knox Pro is more likely going to happen than anything dealing with Rikishi, his status in the Hall of Fame, or anything else. I mean, let me also be honest. This is still a profession that debates whether or not Chris Benoit belongs into the International Hall of Fame. And let's just mention that. Okay.
So, no doubt.
That up. And motherfucker.
Uh-oh. And that must mean that we're at the top of the 8th then.
Yes.
Oh, yikes. Look, to our over 250 or so odd concurrent live viewers, thank y'all. Again, hit that like button on the platform that you are watching on. Come back at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone for the Smoke Pit tonight. Tomorrow we have, man, why am I blanking? What's the Thursday edition called, Coach? Goodness gracious. Sergeant's Time with Ice. Man, it's late. It's past my bedtime. Yeah. I'm King. That's Coach. We out. Peace.
Shit.
Actually,
we never did David.
I got to come back. My bad. David, he did give us words.
We never did Dave. Dave, sorry, pal.
Man, all right. David Cunningham said, great show today, King and Coach, on the WTF Sports Bar. Sports fans, MLB, NCAA football, and the NFL is up for grabs at this point. Choose your teams wisely.
Hey, is this like a post-credit scene?
This is a post-credit scene.
We got to do something. All right, real quick, just on the post-credit screen. For everybody, on 3, put in your comments if you're watching it. Fuck you, Aaron fucking Boone!
Choose your teams wisely and have a great week. And F you, Aaron Boone. We out. Peace.